And what's up, Star Wars fans? I'm KT, and welcome back to Multiverse of Mayhem. We need to talk about something that's been stirring up debate across the galaxy. Did Tony Gilroy's Andor series just retcon Rogue One? With Andor Season 2's finale fresh in our minds, some fans are claiming there's a massive continuity error between the series and the 2016 film. Warning, spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen or finished Andor Season 2, you want to pause here unless you want to know how it wraps up and how it ties into Rogue One. Now, let's dive in. The controversy centers around Cassian Andor's knowledge of the Death Star, or as Tivik calls it, the planet killer. Critics argue that Cassian acts surprised about the superweapon in Rogue One, even though Andor Season 2 clearly shows him learning about it beforehand. But hold up, before we declare this is the biggest Star Wars continuity crisis since the Kessel Run distance debate, let's actually break down what's happening here, because I think these critics are missing something crucial about how espionage actually works. First, let's establish some facts. In Andor Season 2, we see Lonnie, a rebel mole inside the ISB, discover intelligence about an Imperial superweapon project. This information travels up the chain from Lonnie to Luthen Rael, then to Clea, and finally reaches Cassian Andor. Keep in mind, this is Tony Gilroy, the same Tony Gilroy who co-wrote Rogue One, so he knows these characters and this story inside and out. Now, Andor's finale ends with Cassian receiving his mission to meet his contact on Kafrene in Rogue One, a contact working with Saw Gerrera's extremist cell, and Tivik mentions the Empire's planet killer. Cassian seems to react with surprise and asks follow-up questions as if he's hearing this for the first time. The argument goes like this: if Cassian already had heard about the Death Star from the intelligence chain in Andor, why is he acting surprised when Tivik brings it up? On the surface, it seems like a clear contradiction, but here's where I think people are fundamentally misunderstanding what's actually happening in that scene, and I actually think it's communicated really well and the acting comes across incredibly great. So let's break down how professional espionage actually works. Here's the thing. Cassian Andor isn't just some guy having a casual conversation. He's a professional intelligence operative conducting a debriefing with an asset, and there are rules to this game. From the moment we meet Cassian in Rogue One, the film establishes him as a seasoned spy who's willing to do whatever it takes for the mission. This is a man who kills his own informant in cold blood to protect operational security. In intelligence work, when a handler meets with an asset, they never reveal what they already know up front. Think about it. If Cassian had walked into the meeting saying, "Oh yeah, the Death Star, we already know about that," he would have learned nothing new. Instead, by playing ignorant, he's able to confirm intelligence, gather additional details, and test his source's reliability. It's standard operating procedure. Now let's break down what actually happens in that scene with fresh eyes. When Tivik mentions the planet killer, Cassian's not showing genuine surprise. He's showing the controlled response of a professional spy receiving confirmation of critical intelligence. And here's the smoking gun that proves my point. When Tivik mentions the scientist's name, Cassian immediately responds with, "Galen or so?" This is crucial. He's not asking, "Who's that?" in confusion. He's double-checking, clarifying that he heard the name correctly. This is exactly what someone would do if they're confirming the intelligence they already possess. It's the reaction of someone thinking, "Wait, did he just say the name that I had already heard? Let me make sure I heard that correctly." Because remember, in that scene, there's a lot of energy going on, there's a lot of adrenaline, there's a lot of noise in the city, and Cassian is just making sure he's hearing what he thought he heard. Throughout the conversation, Cassian is methodically extracting information. He's not learning about the Death Star for the first time. He's building a more complete picture and confirming details. The urgency isn't from shock at new information. It's from the need to extract every bit of useful intel. He can in the few precious moments he has with Tivik. When you think about it, this interpretation makes the Kafrene scene even better. It shows us just how sophisticated the Rebel intelligence network has become. The Rebels aren't relying on a single source for something as massive as the Death Star. They're gathering intel from multiple streams and cross-referencing everything. This also reinforces Cassian's character and gives him another crucial mission. He needs this confirmation from Tivik, not just for himself, but to convince the skeptical rebel council. Having multiple independent sources makes the intelligence much more credible when presenting it to leadership. What's brilliant is that Tony Gilroy, who co-wrote Rogue One, remember, has actually enhanced the original film rather than contradicting it. Rather than creating a plot hole, he's created a more complex, more realistic intelligence picture that makes both stories stronger. So no, Andor did not retcon Rogue One. If anything, it made Rogue One better by showing us the professional spy network that made the Death Star intelligence possible in the first place. The Cassian we see on Kafrene isn't surprised by the Death Star's existence. He's a professional, doing his job, confirming critical intelligence and building the complete picture that will ultimately convince the Rebel Alliance to act. This is what good prequel storytelling looks like. It adds depth without contradicting existing material. Tony Gilroy understood his own work well enough to enhance it rather than undermine it. What do you think? Are you convinced that this isn't actually a retcon? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this analysis, check out the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Star Wars, MCU, and DCU deep dives. Thanks for watching. See you next time, and remember, this is the way.